And action.
Oh, come on, Susan, you're obviously in love with the man. You haven't taken your eyes off him.
He's a colleague. We're just working together, that's all.
A colleague? A colleague? Good enough to kiss the man?
I didn't kiss him, don't be stupid.
Toadie saw you kiss him on the front veranda.
I kissed him. It was one kiss, Carl. You know what that's like.
Oh, don't you try and bring me into this. You recognise that? A receipt from the Hotel de Love. You spent the afternoon with him, didn't you?
All right, yes, I did. He's more of a man than you'll ever be, and he made me feel like more of a woman than you ever did. I love him, Carl. I love Andi.
It wasn't me, not this Andi. She's obviously talking about another Andi, quite frankly. That was unbelievable. That was fantastic. Well, thank you for letting us into your home. Your rather busy home, it has to be said. Well, look, there's still so much more to come this morning from the set of Neighbours, live and exclusive. We'll be hearing from Russell Crowe, who, of course, was in Neighbours, and also a special birthday message from Kylie Minogue. But right now, the news, travel and weather, wherever you're waking up this morning, that isn't Ramsey Street. Now, do you think it's an Oscar-winning performance? Morning, Bill. Morning, Natasha. Yes, I am live here at the Global Television Studios in Melbourne, Australia, where they do make Neighbours and have done, well, for about the past 8 years. It changed channels, actually, apparently. It was on one channel, and that sort of got heave-ho, and then came back onto another channel, which is very exciting. It's been here ever since. As you can see, the studio is right there behind me. Now, there are all the various sets, the interiors for lots of the sets that we see every day on Neighbours, and at any one time here in the studio, there are normally 4 setups here in the studio. All very nice. Now, the episode that will be on television today, the 20th anniversary episode in the UK, that's episode 4773. The episode that the guys have stopped filming to give us this unprecedented access today is episode 4917. So as you can see, we're a little bit behind in the UK, 8 weeks behind to be precise, but they actually shoot the show around 4 months before it airs here in Australia. Now, look at this. All of a sudden, I'm inside the Scarlet Bar. Now, one of the things that's fascinating me here is the fact that most of their props here at Neighbours are real. I'm not sure in the Queen Vic they'd have real alcohol knocking about the place. Can you imagine? They'd be taking it all the time. And through the magic of television, I can just walk across here and I'm suddenly into the general store. I get quite upset. I'm spoiling it. I hope I'm not spoiling it. Don't forget Neighbours twice a day. And look, here's just the menu. Look, Guinness and beef pie, $6. Bargain. Talking of menus, here's what's on our menu for the next 45 minutes.
Weddings, big responsibility.
We'll be chatting to a whole host of cast members about their memories of the past 20 years, including Stefan Dennis, who played Paul Robinson in the very first episode.
Oh, that'll be the phone.
Something to crow about. We'll be hearing from Russell Crowe, who made a brief appearance on Ramsey Street at the start of his Oscar-winning career. And who needs Hollywood heroes when you've got the most famous mechanic turned musician? Kylie Minogue sends her birthday greetings to mark this very special anniversary. And coming out the back of the coffee shop now, as I said, talked about real props being used here on the set. Some cake here. They actually have their very own chef who makes cakes just for the actors to eat. Envision fine chocolate cake, I might say. Fine chocolate cake. And as I say, if you've got cake, you've got to eat it. Here are 2 I prepared earlier. There we are, sir.
Thank you. No, you can't. I'm on a diet.
Hopefully that meets with your approval. Good morning.
Good
Hello,
morning,
Andy.
Tom and Ian. Lovely to see you, and once again, thank you for letting us in.
You're most welcome.
It's been absolutely fascinating. Good. So, 20 years, obviously, Ian, you've been in it for a considerable amount of time. Tom, you're newer, but still, how many years have you done?
14 years straight in a row, yeah.
Now, for me, I think one of the things that makes the show work so well are the triangles of characters. And you two are part of a great triangle, and the camaraderie between the two of you has become really successful, hasn't it?
Yes, we'd like to think that it has. We bounce off each other quite a bit.
It's very easy to bounce off him.
we try things out. Not all of them are allowed, but yeah, we try, don't we?
We sure do.
He's very trying.
How much of a say are you allowed in what your character does?
We get them pretty fair rein. Pretty loose rein. We have about 4 different directors. They alternate, and they hold us in check if we get out of hand, don't they?
Yeah, the ensemble does work, though.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
we bounce off the storyliners, the scriptwriters, the directors. It's a pretty good altogether effort.
They call us the modern-day old couple.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but we are.
I mean, you must have some great memories. I mean, for me, one of the great moments was your relationship with Madge.
Oh, yes.
Of course.
Oh, yes.
His or mine?
Well, it was
No.
People had a relationship with Madge.
Yes.
So, What was it like working with such a fine actress?
It was super because we trusted each other. And we knew, like, you'd be looking at the script the night before, and I'd look at it, and I'd say, yes, I know what Anne's going to do with that. And she told me she would do the same thing. Hello, Anne, by the way. Hello. I know she's watching in Ireland. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, good, good.
We just got in here, and we just knew automatically that it's like a real marriage. You know what your wife is going to do, and all that sort of thing.
In a way, we're the same. That sounds rather silly, but I know what Ian's going to say sometimes before he opens his mouth regarding a section of the script and how we should play it.
I mean, we had an email here from Pete and Kea in Liverpool, and they'd like to tell us that they know the reason why Neighbours is such a success in the UK. Students. Now, it's very big. I mean, one of the things you do here, isn't it, that you have sort of nights for British backpackers.
For backpackers, yes, indeed. And we get the truth from them because they've had a couple, and they tell us, and it's great. That's great. It really is. We come back here and we talk to the boss and we say this is what they think.
I mean, as we all know, I mean, 6 million people in the UK watch it a day. Do you sort of have it in the back of your mind, you know, how popular the show is around the world? How many countries does it go in? 57 countries?
57, 58,
Something
I
like
believe,
that,
yes.
And does that ever play in the back of your mind?
Of course it does. And you know that sometimes at the end of this year I'm doing Panto in Hastings. You know that people are going to come up to you and say, listen here, listen here, like, you know what I mean, yeah. And you get accused of many things, so...
And many people coming up to you in the street, Tom, and do they go, now, Lou, listen?
Oh, they do, yes.
Oh, yes.
But I must tell you about an email I had from England. This is some time ago that this character emailed and said that I think there's far more going on between Lou and Harold than is in the script, because I've been reading between the lines, he said, because Lou's at Harold's house a lot and they eat a lot of salad together.
Yes. So salad means...
Salad means a lot.
Just email back and say get a lot.
That's for sure going to be one of the students. That's for sure going to be one of those students. Well, thank you very much for the meantime.
Can I say hello to my family?
Of course you can, absolutely, yes, of course you can.
My son Julian and his partner, Michelle and her partner, and my 2 gorgeous granddaughters, Georgia and Harriet. Love you madly.
Cindy, David and Elizabeth, Simmons brothers, Jill Williams.
Sorry, gents, I'm just having a look here. BBC guidelines do dictate that if you're not a licence fee payer, you can't abuse the airwaves and say hello to your family members.
No, I haven't abused them yet.
Sorry about that. We need your cash.
Can you be bribed?
Yes, quite easily.
See you later.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Real money, look at that. Yes. A real 50. Thank you very much indeed. Gents, thank you very much indeed.
You too.
No, I'm just going to...
We're acting. That was acting?
Was it acting?
Yes.
I've watched Neighbours. That was only a joke, obviously, but I think I will keep the 50 Australian dollars. So as you come out, and the money's plastic as well. If you've never been to Australia, hilarious, the money's plastic. You can't rip Australian money. How strange. So that's a little bit of extra information for you there. So look at this. This is called a PBU. It's a photo blow-up. Now, obviously, we're inside a studio here, but when the door opens and the camera's on the other side, it needs to look like Lasseter's on the outside, and we'll be on our way to Lasseter's later. And around this corner is the back of one of the houses. This is the house number 30. And as you can see on here, it's not a PBU. This is actually a painting. A scenic artist has painted this. And this is to look like Ramsey Street. Now, Ramsey Street isn't here at the lot. Ramsey Street is about a 5-10 minute drive away from here. And I'll be going there later to show you around that. And obviously the guys here just still a bit bitter and twisted about the fact that we won. So in we go to number 30. Number 30, this is the house where the boys live, the crazy boys live, and I'll chat to them also later, so you want to keep watching. But for now, time to have a sit-down and think back to 20 years ago, when Neighbours wasn't on our screen. Were we all going around using words like no worries, fair dinkum, and your flaming galah? I don't think so. David Sillito now takes a look at how the Neighbours phenomenon has changed the UK.
When it began in Australia, it was a bit of a flop. It changed channel, and many of the now famous actors, yes, that is Russell Crowe, simply looked on it as a place for some regular work before seeking fame elsewhere.
How should I know?
Because you're the one that put him out of business.
Then it started to be shown in Britain. Actors such as Mark Little, who played gardener Joe Mangle, had no idea what effect it was having.
We were just hearing, hey, there seems to be like 20 million people. There's a population of Australia watching Neighbours every day, twice. So we were just hearing this. It didn't mean anything. It wasn't until a year after I'd been in Neighbours that I came to Libya to have a look, and it was incredible. I couldn't go shopping, and I'd get chased out of supermarkets, and It was really weird. I had to run away and live in North Yorkshire and hide.
When Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan, or rather more accurately, Charlene and Scott, got married, Neighbours was a phenomenon, an alternative to Britain's rather gloomy homegrown soaps.
Suddenly onto the screen came visions of sunshine and suburbs and sea and happy young people getting on well with their own families and other families. So it made a huge impact because it was different.
And not only were the characters often young and good-looking, the storylines were also suitable for children. 20 years on, Australia now accepts the influence it's had on its image around the world.
It's always sunny. I don't think it's ever rained on a Neighbours episode. So there's this whole new image about what Australia is and the outdoor lifestyle. And the people that go with it, you know, they're relaxed, they're not stressed. They're again in the cafe. You know, I want to be in Ramsey Street.
Yeah, you got lucky.
And while some might want to put their soap pasts behind them, others have learned to love Ramsey Street. Mark Little is appearing in a new play about life behind the scenes on an Australian soap, and he's making a brief return to the show, but it's taken a while.
It's been a bit of a millstone in one way, in that people think, well, you're in a soap, you're not an actor. I was like, whoops, sorry. So yeah, for a long time people thought I was a gardener. People do think it's a documentary. You'd be surprised out there.
20 years on, Neighbours is now a bit racier, and other soaps have caught on to the power of youth. But in the history of TV, Neighbours is a modest but sunny landmark. David Solito, BBC News.
Thank you very much, David. And the picture you're looking at there, Libby, Billy and Mal. Blast from the past as I'm here in the Kennedys' house. It is, I have to say, quite surreal just being on the set of Neighbours. It's not the kind of thing you do every day, but it's very exciting. You do feel as if you are in an episode. Go out of the house through the front door the correct way. Make sure I switch the lights... Oh, yeah, make sure I switch the lights off. There we go. And here I am out the back. And if I go round here, these doors here are the doors of the Scarlet Bar, the very blue doors from which we've gone through many a time. And on the other side of these doors are three people. Now, two of these people here you'll recognise, and one you won't. Sorry, I just kicked you off your chair there, Kyle. Jan Russ is the casting director for Neighbours, and also there is also Carla and Kyle, who play Steph and Boyd. Come on, it's been quite difficult for me learning character name and real name and trying to use them all at the same time. Jan, you've worked on the show for 20 years, haven't you?
I have, yes. But terrifying, isn't it,
No,
really?
not at all. You're looking good on it.
Thank you.
So have you cast all of the characters that we've now known to grow and love?
Well, from day one, yes, from Channel 7 days, yeah, absolutely. From Stefan, from his first episode.
So when people come through your door and you first see an actor or an actress, what do you look for to make a great Neighbours actor?
Oh, the million-dollar question. I thought you did a great job in that scene before, by the way, Andy. I thought you were terrific.
Thank you.
But is that, it's a combination of things. I guess it's talent, it's personality, it's an inner quality. That is a very special thing that comes through that screen, and it's what is going to appeal to the public.
So when you first saw, let's say, Jason Donovan, for instance, what was it about Jason that you thought, actually, this guy will play Scott Robinson brilliantly? Well,
Initially I auditioned Jason when he was at school. And for the role, he came in after school, as sort of, you know, young boys do, and here's one over here that did a very similar thing, with the, you know, sweaty boys in their school uniform, and auditioned for the role. But at that time, of course, he was doing his HSC, so he turned down the role, and I said to him, that's fine, because maybe something will come up again, and of course the rest is history, because it did, and I went straight to Jason again, and he accepted the role.
Carla, you joined the cast not how many years ago?
6 years ago.
6 years ago. So obviously you were an established actress when you came to audition. What was the appeal about joining a show like Neighbours?
Well, I was just kind of thrown in.
It's an interesting story.
It's a very interesting story. I wasn't the original Steph.
Right.
There was another Steph that filmed with the family for about 3 weeks, and for personal reasons she had to pull out. So my agent got a call from Jan at the same time as I was walking through the door, and she wanted to see me straight away. So I went across town and she threw a script at me and said, do the best with that you can.
Yeah.
And so I did it.
That was it.
And 3 days later, I'm on set for 19 scenes for my first day.
Ah, good work. Good work, if you can get it. Good work. So for someone like you, Kyle, I mean, you must have auditioned when you were, what, 14, 15?
Yeah, about 14, yeah.
And so what was it like for you? Because obviously you must have been a Neighbours viewer.
Yeah, always. And but I'd never actually done any auditions before it. So coming in and doing an audition for Neighbours, I was just nervous, as I am a little bit now. You can tell.
he's never done live television,
No,
so
that's right. But you know, it was scary. But I'm glad that I did it. And, yeah.
Now, Jason Donovan, you know, good person for you to follow in his footsteps. Are you thinking music career? Because you've done what, 4 years in it now?
Yeah, nearly 4 years.
Is it a stepping stone?
It could be a stepping stone, but personally, I don't see a pop career coming out of me, so...
It's never stopped anybody else, let's be honest. Well, it hasn't, come on. It was suited, you know. That's what happens, exactly. So, again, is this a Russell Crowe in the making, do you think?
Well, who knows?
Because Russell Crowe also...
Russell was on for a short time.
Yeah, Russell was also somebody else that's appeared in Neighbours. And, well, let's see what he thought of his days on the show.
Every time it's mentioned in Australia, it's mentioned that I was in the show. I did 3 episodes, which took me 2.5 days in 1987. And we worked out that that is 0.00184, I think, of the entire production slate of Neighbours.
So, that's what Russell Crowe thought of his days in Neighbours. So well done, Jack. I mean, when you look at the Kylies and the Jasons and the Russell Crowes and the Guy Pearces, does it give you a sort of warm feeling inside that you've helped start these people's careers?
Oh, look, it does. I've just given them a, you know, that stepping stone, and they've really gone for it, and I think it's fantastic.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well, long may you carry on for another 20 years of finding great,
I don't know about that.
great actors and actresses.
Yes.
Exactly. And don't look, he's sitting here thinking, I didn't do very well. I was far too nervous, I didn't do very well. My first live on BBC One, I didn't do very well. You were fine, you were fine. Okay, I'm going to check the weather because here in Melbourne, the weather is good every day, but obviously I'm not actually in Melbourne, I'm in Erinsborough. And as you can see, the weather every day isn't fantastic. I feel a bit like Noel Edmonds when he used to do House Party. Oh yeah, look at that. Summertime, grey skies. That's the weather for Erinsborough. But right now, let's get the weather for the United Kingdom and say, no, I can. Honestly, Jan. Here we go. Definitely, Jan, I can act. You can have me any... Welcome back to the set of Neighbours. Just talked to Jan Russ there, who is the casting director for Neighbours. She's cast every star you've ever seen in this show, including Kylie Minogue. And one of the traditions they have here is that you can sign the set when you're one of the famous members of the cast. Kylie was here 18th of May 2004. Day she came, came for a reminisce and a look round. She was in another studio here at Global Television doing a different TV show and came in just to have a look round and see what it was like. So, look, clap aboard. As I said, episode 4,917, the episode that was interrupted today to allow us to do this special. And here they are, these three.
Hey!
Hello, boys, you all right?
Yeah. You're it.
Well, I'm it?
Yeah.
Right, fine. So I have to say, I've spent a couple of days with you guys. You all seem to get on very, very... I've spent a couple of very long days with you guys. You all seem to get on so well. I mean, is it just an act?
Yes. No, it's all good fun, really. I mean, I think they put us together pretty well. We have our on and off days. Usually they're on.
Paddy has a lot of off days.
I can imagine.
These two are like two of my closest friends. I just wish they got on.
So, I mean, obviously being the younger actors, and obviously Boyd is even younger, is it quite good to act with this?
Oscar's even younger too.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, he's like...
Yeah. Is it easy acting with people like Fletch and Jackie, who obviously are very established in what they do?
Probably when you first come in, it's definitely a lot more intimidating, I guess, than what it is when Paddy or Ryan and I get together. We're all the same age group. We know the jokes that each other has and the way we work with each other. But, yeah, when you get across from Jackie or Alan or Ian, it definitely is. But after a while, it's acting, and that's what it is.
Once you realise that you're better than them... No, not at all.
And what about the scripts, Paddy? Because obviously... there are things that an Irishman certainly would and wouldn't say, but obviously it's been written by Australians. Do you actually get to pick up the script and go, well, actually, look...
I do that a lot. I love my pen because I get to sort of go, you wouldn't say that, but you'd say this instead, and you get to change things around.
And how do the writers react to that?
They love it because they think they've done it themselves. So it turns out pretty well. Everyone's happy, everyone gets along. It's great.
Now, Ryan, one of the things about your character he's a lawyer, he's a legal expert, he's an everything, really.
I'm not too sure what he is, too. He's been a barrister as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and a solicitor and a lawyer, and I don't know what
Your
else.
character's come a long way since he first started.
Yes.
Has that been quite an easy thing to play?
Yeah.
Just going from a real sort of someone who mucked about a lot to actually being some quite dramatic scenes.
Well, I still muck around quite a lot, and I am a genius as well. So you know, it's not that much of a stretch.
Says who?
Hey, I really am a lawyer.
Okay, sorry.
All right. I got my degree in 2.5 years.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
And what about some of the stunts, Blair? What about some of the stunts?
The stunts.
Do you ever do any of the stunts yourself?
Yeah, look, a lot of us, I mean, there's a few, especially with the wrestling stuff, that was wrestling, by the way, with Ryan and Paddy, they got to do a lot of throwing around in the big makeshift ring, yeah. And but, you know, when they saw stuff such as your wedding to Dee, when the car went off the cliff.
That was great.
Yeah, that was more of a blonde wig and a doll that went out the window, I think.
And her head almost came off too.
Yeah, that was...
Well, guys, thank you very much for letting me into your house. It's a bit of a mess, it has to be said.
Can I quickly say hello as well?
Oh, not you as well. Can we save it for later? Because right now we've got to get the news, travel and weather wherever you're waking up this morning. Stop it. Behave, all of you. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Or shall I say, good evening. It's 6 p.m. here. We are backstage, behind the scenes at Neighbours, because today Neighbours celebrates its 20th anniversary, and there's still lots more to come from here at the set in Melbourne. First of all, though, it's 9 a.m. in the United Kingdom, and let's get the very latest news from Moira Stewart. Good morning, Moira. Thank you very much indeed, Moira. Just been consulting, well, obviously, you know, Dr. Carl. I've been consulting, actually, I'm going to help him because the poor man's having a right old traumatic time at the moment. One of the great things about Neighbours is the storylines, and they're all quite dramatic. Now, as I said earlier, in the UK, we're about 8 weeks behind the storylines that go out on television here in Australia, but actually, when it comes to filming the show, they're about 4 months ahead. So basically, stuff that's being filmed this morning here in Australia will be shown in the UK in about 6 months. Now, Jackie, Fletch, and Natalie, good morning.
Good morning.
I know it's 6 p.m. in the evening. I've got to say good morning because it's for England, for the United Kingdom, I should say. Now, it must be so difficult doing the very dramatic scenes. You three are in a fascinating triangle of love at the moment. Centres around yourself.
Well, last night everyone saw me throw Natalie to the floor, just over there, right over there.
And rightly so.
And rightly so. She deserved every second of it.
I feel devastated.
But obviously, I mean, again, are the dramatic scenes the hardest ones to play, or are they actually easier because actually you really zone out?
Usually the really dramatic ones have been, we spend more time rehearsing and they're very well written and we've got a good lead up to them, so often they're the most enjoyable to do as well.
And when you read what's going to happen to your character, Natalie, does it sometimes shock you yourself?
Often. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, pretty much every week since I've been here, I've had such amazing storylines, but I think as an actor it's a lot more fun to have that challenge, so I've loved it more than not.
Now, there's constant speculation about what's going to happen to the characters, which I think helps keep the show alive. When you read some of this stuff, do you just laugh, or is it...
No,
Often.
No, never!
Never!
Well, Izzy's lying has been so spectacular and Carl's been so gullible that a lot of my time is actually sitting there going, how am I going to play this so that the audience don't sit back and go, oh, Dr. Carl, wake up, wake up.
They still do, don't worry.
And there's also a lot of irst between Carl and Susan, which will never go away.
No,
you know, so there's a lot of wonderful stuff coming, I can tell.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, some of the stuff that we've been privileged enough to actually watch you doing, now I'm trying to think, mustn't say.
Oh,
But do you end up, you know, even when you go home thinking, I mustn't say that, because before you know it, 5,000 people will know, it will leak the whole of Australia will have the story.
No,
and everyone wants
get
to
on the
know.
internet every night and just give it all away.
I guess also because everywhere is up to different spots, so in Australia at a different spot to you guys over there, so I guess in a way we have to be pretty careful, but...
The websites are full of spoilers, so it's...
Yes, and we move so quickly through the stories. I mean, it's just voracious. So by the time we shoot something, whatever we did 2 or 3 months ago, truly we'd have trouble remembering what
Well, we
it
have
was
no short-term memory anyway, so...
How much can you physically shoot in a day?
Well, it's 2.5 hours a week, so basically we shoot about 30 minutes a day, which is spectacularly fast. It's very huge pressure on the crews. And they're standing on their feet for 12 hours a day trying to get this stuff shot.
Complaining.
We complain, they work.
Okay, so, I mean, I must ask, on behalf of everybody at home, what does happen? At least I asked. I know they're not going to answer, but at least I asked.
I can't give anything away, Andy, but...
No,
Get away from me! Get away from me!
There's three of us here. What do you have? Oh.
Well, leave it there, I think. We should leave it there. So, as I was saying, we are on the lot of Neighbours. So this is right next door to the studio where I am. That's hence why I can walk in and out of the studio and onto the lot. One of the things, obviously, that is most intriguing about Ramsey Street is Ramsey Street itself. It's about a 10-minute drive from the studios here, and I went there yesterday so I could give you a quick tour. This is Ramsey Street. Well, in fact, it's a pretty nice cul-de-sac in the Vermont area, which is in Melbourne. Now, all of the houses that you see, every single one of them is real. So, this house here used to be the residence of Mrs. Mangle, one of my favourite houses here on Ramsey Street, it has to be said. So, through the magic of television, what happens is on filming days, on location, the cast and crew rock up, and the art department change this lovely little court into Ramsey Street. There's even a sign that they just plonk on the ground.
49, 15, scene 20, shot one, take one.
This house here, on Ramsey Street, it turns into number 30. And this one over here, with a simple addition of some blue tack and a couple of brass numbers, this house becomes number 28. Every house you see, as I said, is real. Susan Kennedy's house. And even the back gardens do have swimming pools in. So when you see swimming pool scenes, which are sometimes shot when it's very cold, they're all actually just behind these houses. Now, this house here, Paul Robinson. Do you remember episode 1, day 1? This is where he rocked up. The Robinson household right next door to what was the Ramsey household. Now home to Harold. Madge obviously lived there. And that balcony, the balcony where Scott and Charlene first met. Just savour the moment. Enjoy the balcony. Finally, the house next door is this one. Now, this house is about to have, well, I'm not sure I'm allowed to say. Let's just put it this way, that soon there will be a new resident in this house. Yeah, what's your surname? Hicks? H-I-C-K. I'm not sure we've got any rooms available. Anyway, got to go, BBC are here, bye. So, I have to tell you that there are some great returning characters to Neighbours. You must make sure that you do watch the 20th anniversary programme today, twice. One of the characters is through this door. Good use of the apostrophe. Ah, Stefan Dennis. Paul Robinson, the evil. Can I just look at that? There's nothing actually there. There's a light and a breeze block wall. So nice to see you.
Between my ears.
So lovely to see you.
Yeah, mate.
Thank you for coming. So you are now we're going out.
Oh, okay, we'll go out this way.
You are the evil Paul Robinson.
I am, well, I'm not, but I play the evil Paul Robinson.
Yeah. I like to talk to you both. I like to flip between Stefan and Paul.
Okay.
So what
you tell me when you're flipping, for goodness.
Exactly. Okay, Stefan, what attracted you to coming back?
A lot of things, really, but it was, it's a good gig. It's a good gig. At the end of the day, that's all it is. It's a great gig. I shouldn't say that's all it is. That's exactly what it is. There was lots of things. I've had a tremendous run overseas, and I was offered the gig when I came back. A lot of people think I came back for it, but I was offered it after I came back, and people said, "Oh, why don't you do it?" One, I'm like, no, I can't do that. And then I just thought, you know, why not? There's no reason why not. As I said, it's a good gig.
Yeah,
I could be digging ditches.
Yeah, have a seat. I was going to sit on that side.
Well, you can't.
Well, exactly, because it's your property.
Yes.
So, I mean, you, for one, have spent a lot of time in the UK, so you understand how popular this show is in the UK. Why do you think it stayed?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many answers to that. I mean, Smithy was saying before, just the approach, the bright approach to the show itself, the physical approach, but also the optimism of it, and the fact that we're not bogged under by really tense, heavy storylines all the time. I mean, there's a nice blend of good fun comedy with comedic characters, past and present, as well as a lot of realism thrown in between. I think that just that blend together with, as I say, the brightness of the show is just, it's fun to watch. It's entertaining.
I mean, again, and I said earlier, you know, the weather isn't always brilliant. But that obviously plays a part. I mean, even now, it's become slightly overcast now, but it is 6:10.
Yeah, it's quite staggering how often we shoot in the rain, actually, and manage to, because of all of these guys, manage to make it look like it's a bright, sunny day in Melbourne. But yeah, Melbourne has 4 seasons in a day, so yeah, woo.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, and it truly does have 4 seasons in a day. You could be sitting here in a T-shirt 1 minute and then have your rain mac on.
Yeah.
Then it's breezy, and the whole thing. I mean, you've acted in The Bill, you've done various shows, you know, even our own UK soaps.
Yeah,
I mean,
BBC Scotland did River City up there. That was woohoo.
Yeah.
Casualty.
Do you think that, from where I'm sitting, the camaraderie between the cast here is second to none? I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, that's nice to hear. I mean, that was another thing that was really warming about coming back. I mean, the first person that I saw when I came in and that I was aware of was Smithy. and he just was so welcoming again.
Sorry.
So welcoming again. Yeah, it is. It's, you know, people say, oh, but, I mean, I just had a guy working in my garden and he said, oh, you've got to give me some gossip, got to tell me what's going on. And I said, well, there is no gossip. It's just, you know, apart from nice stuff. Yeah, they're good.
And it's a great show that obviously lots of famous
That sounds
people...
really soppy, doesn't it?
What?
No, we all hate each other.
No, really, they don't.
dogs.
They really, really don't. I mean, it's a great show that everyone wants to be involved in. You know, as I said, the Russell Crowes, Kylie's, Guy Pearce's, etc. I mean, it's bred some fantastic stars, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Don't say who, like you don't know.
You know, it has, and you've gone on to bigger and better things, and you know, it's yet to see what's going to come out of this as well. You know, as we go on, and what the future holds for future stars is incredible as well.
Okay, well, in a minute, I've got a very special message for everybody here, but first of all, let's take a look at the weather in the United Kingdom. Thank you very much indeed, Helen. Yes, it's a nice bit of salt there. A bit of salt, bit and pepper, which leads me very cleverly onto what I'm doing next, actually. Missing City Hospital terribly. It's time to say good morning to Ainsley. And Ainsley, do you have a favourite Neighbours moment?
Oh, I suppose it's Kylie getting married to Jason, you know. I mean, it's one of those that just sticks with you. And, of course, they've become such sort of big stars in the United Kingdom, haven't they? And we like Kylie doing her bit. I'm making a fantastic cheesecake today and look forward to seeing you back very soon. Take care, Andy.
Thank you very much indeed, Ainsley. Don't forget City Hospital this morning at 10, and I'll be back on City Hospital on Thursday. So I've got this email from Kylie to you all. I shall read it.
Yes.
It says, from Kylie, Neighbours is 20 years old. It's hard to believe. I have many fond memories of my days in Nunawading. I'd love to wish everybody in Ramsey Street a very happy birthday. So there we are. That's from Kylie.
Cheers,
exactly.
On you, Clicky.
Yeah. Clicky?
Yeah, that's what I used to call her.
Was that her nickname, Clicky?
Well, that's what I called it.
Your own private little world going on there. So, do you think there's another 20 years in Neighbours?
Of course there is. Of course there is. As long as there are newspapers, that's a plane. As long as there are newspapers, there can be the show, because this show is here to reflect daily life in Australia.
Okay.
I think.
And again, I've said it all along, you've all been fantastically welcoming to all of us, bar you, Ryan. Everyone's been so nice and so warm and welcoming. Any special messages for the UK audiences?
We love you. Keep watching. See you in Hastings.
Hi, Foxy. Such a bad idea.
$50.
Yeah, I'll give you that back. Yeah. No, I am so sorry. All that leaves me to do is to remind you that don't forget the 20th anniversary edition of Neighbours is on today at 1:40. That's repeated this afternoon after CBBC at 5:35. And don't forget that after the lunchtime edition of Neighbours today, you'll find out what happened when I went to Ramsey Street and brought back some lovely memories. Take care. Bye-bye. $50. I'll give you back your money. Welcome back to Ramsey Street, Erinsborough, which is in fact a very nice cul-de-sac here in Melbourne. And I have to say, it is very exciting. I've been looking through Mrs. Mangle's curtains. It's hard to believe, isn't it, that Neighbours is 20 years old and a lot's changed. Not just the hairstyles, the opening titles too.
Neighbours, everybody needs good neighbours with a little understanding. You can find the perfect blend. That's when good neighbours become good friends. Good friends.
Ah, the memories are flooding back already. Look at me, Mum, I'm on Ramsey Street. Now, we're not just here to talk about dodgy haircuts and bad outfits. Apparently we are here to talk about dodgy haircuts and bad outfits. But as well as all of that, there's all of this. Dust off your best suit. We'll be reliving all those tender moments at the altar.
What do you like? I bet he's a real door. Charlie!
I can't believe her hair back then either, but she's come a long way since then. We'll be looking at the prestigious list of superstars who started out on Ramsey Street. And the cast relive their favourite scenes from the last 20 years, especially for us.
I just don't love you anymore. Oh, it was like that.
The exterior of these houses may look like a movie set, but it's not. These are real houses lived in by real people. Look at that, solid 2x4. It's Pin Oak Court in the middle of Melbourne, but for the purposes of television, this has to become Ramsey Street. So people like Greg turn number 5 into number 28. Oh, of course, number 28 Ramsey Street. Susan Kennedy lives here. Now, I know a lot about Neighbours, it has to be said, but somebody that knows a little bit more than me, who's been in the show for donkey's years, is just arriving on that bus there. Let's see who's going to be my tour guide. Stefan Dennis, you all right?
Andy, good, mate.
You're going to make me feel good.
Oh, yeah, right. Thanks for that.
Sorry. I can't believe that they actually have tours for Neighbours.
Oh, no. Well, have a look behind you.
I mean, look at all these people here. Hey! And the funniest thing, did someone whoop there in a whooping fashion? The funniest thing is, most of them are British. And you were in episode 1 of Neighbours. Can you remember that day?
I was in episode 1, day 1, scene 1. Which was Danny's nightmare dream. But the funny thing about at the end of that episode, if you look at that house there, and at the front door, my character, Paul Robinson, was delivered to the door, to his dad's arms, in a nappy, a baby's bonnet, and a baby's bib.
This was a Robinson house?
This was Robinson. There was Jim Robinson, Gran, who wasn't a Robinson, Paul, Julie, Lucy, and Scott.
And Scott, of course.
All
Jason
in that
Donovan.
household there.
Was in that one, and then over there, that must have been a Ramsey house, wasn't
That
it?
was the Ramsey house, which was Maria, Max, Shane, and Danny.
And the final house, that one there, that was a...
That was originally Clive Gibbons.
Good, look, do you remember?
Dr. Clive Gibbons,
Dr.
in the gorilla
Gibbons.
suit, arrived in the gorilla suit. And then Paul moved in, he bought that house, and moved in there with his
Gail.
first wife, Gail.
Yes, I remember Gail. And isn't she's the one you married twice?
Yeah, because my character's been married 4 times.
So you alone have had 4 weddings.
Yeah.
But there have been a huge number of weddings on Neighbours, and one which, well, there's just one wedding that we all still hold very dear to our hearts.
Which one's that? Charles and Diana?
That don't say ridiculous.
To heaven and hold from this day forward. For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. Better for worse, for richer, for poorer.
I'll take the risk, let my feelings flow. I found the words I need to say. Suddenly you're seeing me just the way I am. Suddenly you're hearing me. So I'm talking just
I'm sorry. What? I can't do this.
every part of me needs to know.
I'm so sorry. I can't do this.
Listen! Why? Say the same! Don't tell me! It just happened! It happened because you let it happen! Because you're too low and too selfish to stop it! I know! Peace of mind. You see the real me, and I know that you're the key. Suddenly you're seeing me just the way I am. Suddenly you're hearing me. So I'm talking just as fast as I can to you. Suddenly, every part of me needs to know every part of you.
For richer, for poorer. In sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health.
To love, honour and cherish as long as we both shall live.
To love, honour and cherish as long as we both shall live.
Scott and Charlene's wedding. Now there's a TV moment we were all talking about. In fact, it's one of the only TV moments where I almost cried, but I didn't because I'm hard, just like Russell Crowe. He was in Neighbours, you know.
Should stand for Big Mouth Brenda.
So see more of him later on. Stefan, I've really enjoyed being on Ramsey Street and looking at the outside of the houses, but I'd quite like to go inside now. Nice cup of tea with Harold.
It's not real.
It is real, I know they're real houses.
I know they're real houses, but if you want to go to the inside of Ramsey Street, we have to go to the studio.
OK, fine, take me that way.
Don't you know anything about television?
Back on the bus, everybody! On you come! I'll have a nice front seat, I like the front seat.
Yeah. Take it.
I see.
All right.
This is very exciting.
Take it.
Wow. This is Neighbours, eh?
This is Neighbours studio. This is where it all happens, the interiors.
Very nice, very nice. What are these guys over here doing?
They're rehearsing a scene for probably Thursday morning, I think. The guys, they're in number 30.
Yep. That over there?
This, well, this is being set up at the moment. This is the hotel suite in Lassiter's.
Right.
You'll know more about that.
Lots of lights. Now that, what's that then?
No, you're actually not allowed to see that. You see, that's not even on air in Australia, let alone over in the UK, so
okay.
Bit of a secret.
Oh, they're having a face. Have a look, they're having a face-off. Look, it's going to be a fight. Would you mind if I just pop somewhere?
Yeah, no, go for it.
Just a second, just leave it. I'm about to knock on the door of the House of the Boys, and like any good soap opera, it should be opened now. Oh, may I come in?
Come on in.
Thank you.
Rolled up, you know when rolled up.
Nice place.
Thank you.
Nice Crocs. So now, Blair, you guys all get on really, really well. Is that really important? We're making a show like this.
I think, yeah, absolutely. We work a lot together in this set, so for us to all get along, we get to add our own little bits of ad-lib here and there, which makes it, I guess, more real and a lot more enjoyable for us because we spend a lot of time here.
Is it a gruelling schedule or not?
Oh, it can be at times, and not for me. I haven't worked in 4 years, so I'm okay.
This is one of the best jobs in the world. They pay us to muck around.
Yeah.
We come in here and we just muck around and we hardly work, and it's great.
Yeah, no. We do get serious sometimes, but it's...
So how does an Irishman get into Neighbours?
I moved. I was born here, and I moved back and forth a few times. And when I came back, I started. I got an agent, an audition.
Because I watched it thinking you were an Australian acting with a bad Irish accent. Actually, you're a...
bad.
No.
Are you really Irish? Deep burn. Oh, it's so deep.
A lot of people think that, yeah. But I mean, you know, if I spoke the way I do speak, then they wouldn't probably be able to put any of my scenes to air. Because they wouldn't be able to understand it.
What did you say?
Exactly. So what they do is, I mean, the show goes to 59
something
countries.
like that.
Yeah, so they want to make sure everyone understands
Now,
it.
come on, you guys used to be the Young Brigade, but there's now even younger cast members.
Yeah, we're planning on killing them.
What are you trying to say?
Well,
you're going bald!
Receding hairline. Oh, right. Okay, continue. You're so welcome here at the moment.
Well, I've done quite well. Maybe I need someone to come and rescue me. Where is that? Where is that? Stefan Dennis when you need him. Right, look, guys, Stefan's here. Thanks very much for your time. Got to go. Bye, boys.
I think I should take you up to Lassiter's now.
Thank you. Stefan, thank you so much for saving me. Those boys are crazy.
No, they're not. You get used to
are. Lassiter's.
Yes, look, here it is, the hotel itself. This is my domain, all use of A.
This is, I mean, just lovely. I mean, I just love being here. It's so exciting.
And do you know what we're walking on at the moment?
Yes.
Don't walk too hard because underneath it is the pond.
The original
No, it's been
Blasters
filled
pond.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the bridge that used to be there.
And I did notice that the bridge has been unceremoniously dumped just over there. Look, that is the bridge, just left
That is
there.
the bridge. That's the original.
I'm going to put it on
That tells
eBay.
stories.
Exactly.
But over here, and if you look over there, you've got where Lynn Scully works, the hairdressers, Gino's
Yes.
hairdressers. I don't know if you know that one.
Yep.
And here, this is where Lou's pub used to be.
Yes.
Okay, and if you can see up there, see how all the trees are burnt?
Yes.
That's actually from the fire when we burnt down the pub. And now Stan Scala Bar, which is owned by Max Anesi.
And over there, look, we've got Dr. Carl's surgery.
Dr. Carl's surgery and also Toadie's practice as well.
Do you know,
law
I work
practice.
on a program called City Hospital. Let me just, I could give him a few tips. Just check if he's in. Oh.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like a disused...
It's sort of, yeah.
It's all a front, quite literally. Okay, and over here...
And over here, of
how
course, is the
exciting.
general store, which used to be Daphne's Coffee Shop.
Yes,
So that's actually, that was an old relic. Speaking of old relics.
Gentlemen, wake up, wake up.
Sorry, good day. What's the matter? My teeth, I haven't got my teeth. You got them in? No, they're not mine. Oh.
Look, how much of Ian is in Harold and how much of Tom is in Lou?
No, I'm pretty sure there's no Harold there. There's an awful lot of people that I've met. I mean, he's about 10 of them. He's a very interesting crowd of people.
Same applies to Lou as well, I think. There is some in there, obviously. Interpretation of humour, mostly. Which is my favourite, yes.
Now, you've become quite a double act. Was that something that happened consciously, or is it just evolved over time?
It's what the writers see, or it's what the storyline sees. They have turned us into a double act. If you're married to someone in the show, you became a double act, like it was Madge and Harold. They were a double act that everyone wanted to see. Didn't want to see either of us singularly, but they wanted to see the double act.
It was the same with Lou and Cheryl, basically, as well. I must tell you one little thing that I did to Ian, because we do things to each other that never goes to air. There was another camera team here once, and they had written a small scene they would like Harold and Lou to play. And Ian was having trouble with the last line of this scene, and so he wrote it on an apple in the fruit bowl on the breakfast bar. And so I said to the director, when you've got what you want, ask for another one, another take. And so Ian went, oh God, I'll never get home. And so we did another. I made my entrance, we went through this scene, and I could see his eyes start to travel towards the apple, so I picked it up and ate it. I ate his dialogue.
That's very funny.
Sorry,
What are you laughing at?
It's amused me. Well, I tell you why it's amused me a bit, is because every time I've gone around the set on the inside, there are lines pinned in places.
Oh, there are
You
not.
open drawers.
There are
You
not.
open drawers, there's lines in the drawer.
No,
that's graffiti.
I lifted up a cushion, there were lines under the cushion. Well, there's lines everywhere. I mean, Harold's been through an amazing roller coaster of a ride. And long may it carry on, continue, because that's, I mean, one of the things I find most endearing is that, you know, every day Harold is different.
Yes.
For you, what's been the most dramatic scene you've had to play?
Oh, well, deaths, obviously.
And there've been a lot of deaths in Neighbours. In fact, over the 20 years, quite some number of deaths. And here's a selection of a few. It's a bit weepy.
I'll find search and rescue.
No, he's all right. He's here. He's here somewhere. He has to be. Harold! Harold!
We could live for 1,000 years, but if I hurt you, I make wine from your tears. I told you that we could fly, 'cause we all have wings, but some of us don't know why. I was standing, you were there, two worlds colliding, and they could never, ever tear us apart.
imagine that. It ripped us to pieces. Like, honestly, it was like a real death.
There wasn't a dry eye on the set that day. I mean,
No.
we were all blubbering.
Yes.
I mean, part of the script, but even the crew were.
Yeah,
shedding
it
a
really
tear.
was. That was the most traumatic.
Do you think there are 20 years left in Neighbours?
Another 20?
Yeah.
No reason why
yeah.
not. It's the sort of show that can keep up with the times. There's no dating of a show like this.
Well, on behalf of the UK, I would like to thank you for 20 years of Neighbours, because I, for one, have enjoyed it and will continue to enjoy it as well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Can
very
we
much.
invite you in for coffee?
Oh, yes, I would. I'd like to buy some of those organic vegetables, if that's okay.
Okay.
You look quite nice.
Surprise!
Oh,
Oh, there's not many people here.
plastic.
How do you spell plastic? I'm not
Yeah. Don't come any further, because it'll only shatter your illusion, viewers. It'll only upset you. Still to come, from Ramsey Street to the top of the charts.
You sure this is a good idea? I'm a Ramsey. We don't think of things like that.
The superstars who owe it all to Neighbours. Quite frankly, Paul Robinson, I think you've burnt the whole lot of this down.
What happened to Stefan?
Forget Stefan, I want to know the facts. I want the nitty-gritty.
All right, well, I'll tell you exactly what happened, because I know what happened. The audience doesn't really know, because they think they know because of what Izzy told them. But give me $50 and I'll tell you. Don't tell anyone.
Isn't that Carl and Susan?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Do you think they're back together again? Look, they're looking quite intimate.
Another $50 and it's yours.
Oh, look, I'm just going to talk to them myself.
Fans, what do you do?
Let's give it a try.
You cool.
How exciting. Carl and Susan.
Hello,
Lovely to meet you
Andy.
both.
Hello, Andy. Nice
Now, you
to
are
see
sitting
you.
rather close together.
Yes, we like to sit close together.
Could this be a reuniting of the two of you?
We can't tell you
You
that.
never know.
In that case, I might as well talk to Fletch and Jackie. To have a 20th anniversary for any TV show is such
It
an
is,
achievement.
isn't it? It's wonderful.
Is it a wonderful show to just to be a part of?
It's television history. So to be involved in that, it's an honour. Absolutely.
Are you surprised at just how successful Neighbours has been?
Oh. Yes and no. I mean, the show's certainly been running, 10 years before we came along, so really not a lot to do with us, I don't think. But surprised at how the characters become entrenched in people's lives. People really do take them and love them. It's great.
I was on the show in 1987 for 3 weeks playing mechanic. And I got a pretty clear idea then just how massively popular the show was, because that was when it was at its absolute peak. Then when we came into the show had dipped a little bit, and since the 10 years we've been here, because of us, I think, the show's gone back up again in popularity, which is I think we've got a completely new audience, which is fabulous.
So have you got any favourite moments from the time you've been in the show?
Any that involve hitting Alan, I've enjoyed.
There've been a few.
Myself,
I think it is the big dramatic moments that are the favourites, because they're challenging as actors and so forth. And I think that when Susan found out about Sarah, there's a massive scene where she slaps Carl.
Oh, no, Susan. Don't you touch me!
Up until that moment, they were the perfect couple, but suddenly there was this massive crack in the relationship. So everything from that point on changed.
The biggest one for me, I think, was when Carl tells Susan he no longer loves her.
Was there something I did?
No.
Was there something I didn't do?
No.
Well, then when did things change?
There's not one defining moment.
You must know your own feelings.
I don't know.
Well, if you don't, then who does? How can we possibly look at what's wrong if you can't or won't?
I just don't love you anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I've tried, but I don't. I don't love you. I'm so sorry. To actually get to the point in the show where you say, I don't love you, from the actor's point of view, means I'm not...
don't love you anymore. Oh, it was like...
It's so sweet, isn't it? I feel like I'm in an episode right now. It's quite spooky.
But really, it's the actors saying to each other, I won't be working with you for a while. Which was hard,
It is.
They were big scenes.
It is, they were.
And as we said, it is interesting, isn't it, to look at the people that have gone on, the people who've been in Neighbours and gone on to do these huge, Hollywood roles.
The success for the Neighbours actors going on, a lot of that's been in music, of course, but it's just super to see them go on.
And as you mentioned music, there are so many Neighbours stars who've had musical careers. Here's a little taster.
Oh, thanks, Grant. Oh! Oh, no. This is going to be the best wedding ever. Oh, no.
Reckon I'll be a star. You're about as good a one as I am photographer, Scott.
Last night you talked about leaving. I said I can't let you go.
What's that? Oh, you know, saucepans and stuff.
Yeah, okay. Can we just drop the subject of sex for a while, please? Whatever.
I thought I saw a man brought to life. He was warm, he came around like he was dignified. He showed me what it was to cry. Well, you couldn't be that man I adore.
Hello, Jim Robinson.
Hi, Mr. You don't seem to know, seem to care.
Des! What are you doing in here?
This patient does not need support.
Step outside, both of you. Let's go.
Maybe if you had, you'd know something about real love.
Maybe it's just a girly thing.
A what thing?
Fact. Women are more emotional than men.
Fact, you're an idiot.
G'day.
Get it?
Your little sister to do your talking, are you, Ramsey? No, I'll flatten that.
Get out. It wasn't my fault.
Every time it's mentioned in Australia, it's mentioned that I was in the show. I did 3 episodes, which took me 2.5 days in 1987. And we worked out that that is 0.00184, I think, of the entire production slate of Neighbours.
You sure this is a good idea? I'm a Ramsey. We don't think of things like that. How is
All those hits from people who've been in Neighbours, Gonna Make You Feel Good, 1989, number 16, by Stefan Dennis.
Yes.
Why didn't you do another hit song? That's what we need.
I actually did.
Did you really?
Yeah, This Love Affair, just after that.
That wasn't on everyhit.com.
Probably because it wasn't a hit.
Hey, there we go. What can I say? I've had a fantastic time here at Neighbours, and you have been an excellent host, so thank you very much. And here's to the next 20 years of Neighbours. And it's true what they say, this really is the place where good neighbours become good friends.
I can't believe you just said that.
It ain't easy being this cheesy. The bridge has been unceremoniously dumped. That's a sound, man. The bridge has been unceremoniously dumped over there, look. Did you see you again, Brett? Yeah, that's just the sound, man. Don't mind me.
You're given an amount of food, you don't know whether to eat it or climb it. You know, it's you get fat.
Next scene's going to be my tour guide. Oh, cheap doors. Oh dear. And it's Ryan. Hello. No, actually, I'm meant to come in. Do it for me. Any